Excellent. I think we can move on. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks so much
Excellent.
for
Well,
participating, everyone.
yes, thank you, folks. So I just want to show you, first stop the music, but I do want to show you what I got and then just reflect a little bit on what we're seeing here and why we're seeing what we're seeing. So this was my prompts, just like yours, and I got something similar to this and a shorter description. Now, this is a powerful exercise to try with your teams internally because I think it really does land the concept we want to talk about today, which is the power of sources in Copilot, right? So as you can see, Copilot is in work mode right now, and what that means is that it's gathering all the information from my emails, my conversations, my Outlook, my graph data essentially in Microsoft, and picking all of that and condensing it into a neat description. So very powerful. I think it lands the message we want to cover today. Welcome back, and we're excited to get you to work together today. Some of you mentioned that you were interested in knowing a little bit more about what we do. We just want to share here the second of a promotion for us. We work a lot with clients driving adoption of Microsoft services, but other areas as well, like security awareness. And so we do a few of these things, such as trainings like these, also live and facilitation, as well as consulting. And we have a very powerful platform that helps us scale the training for all employees. So if you're interested in learning anything about what we do in more detail, just let us know. All right, with that, we just want to talk about our journey again. We talked about goals and the power of goals in a prompt. We moved into context and how context can shape the prompt further. Now we're going to talk about sources. It's going to be a short presentation, and we're going to move into right into the exercise today. And then our last session will be expectations. After our last session, we will be encouraging you to submit your prompts, and then we'll be awarding prizes, as we mentioned, Microsoft Swag, along with a list of all the prompts that we collected. For those of you who are joining, we covered a very simple concept of prompt engineering, which is this framework. And every prompt should at least have these four ingredients: goal, context, source, and expectation. So what are we asking Copilot to do? Why? Which source should Copilot gather the information from? And then what expectations do we have for Copilot? Today, again, we're going to focus on sources. And better sources obviously land better answers, and that's why we want to focus on sources. And there's two different types of sources, or I guess copilots we can distinguish here when we talk about sources. We have the free copilot, or the copilot that is grounded on web data, as you may have heard. And this is the copilot, of course, that comes associated with your Microsoft license. No extra payment for it needed. And the sources of the Copilot chat are usually web links that we may provide, or we may even just mention, say, our company name in the prompt, and that just brings up insights from it. You can also, though, bring local data. So if you have data from your machine, in essence, for example, you can drag and drop files. If you were in session one, we showed how you can bring two candidate resumes into the chat and then ask Copilot to compare the two against the job description, for example. That's all with the free Copilot. You don't have to have a paid version for that. You are essentially bringing the data yourself into the Copilot, and you can also bring website in that case, right? So all these three options are available in the chat, and folks, don't underestimate the power of the chat, of the free one. It's actually quite powerful, so we encourage you to definitely consider it. Now, if you have the paid version, you'll know that the difference between the free and the paid is that the paid is grounded on work data as well as web data, right? So both. So as I mentioned in the other one, web links definitely, but also the data from your meetings, your calendar, people, files, chats, and channel posts, as well as any emails you have sent. So it's really, really rich in the sourcing of information. So point here for learning essentially is if you're in the paid, definitely as you're building your prompts, use the forward slash and then associate your prompt to either a person or a meeting or whatever that may be. It's really powerful. I'll give you an example. When I work a lot in sales and whatnot at Change Champions, oftentimes when I have a meeting with a client, I'll record the meeting or I'll ask for permission to record the meeting, and then I'll use the forward slash in Copilot Chat to help me think about next steps for that particular client, or maybe even craft a proposal for the client based on what was discussed in the meeting. So always consider adding your forward slash and calling out Copilot. I'll show you in a second what I mean by this. If you are in the free version, definitely consider adding links or attachments to your prompts. That really helps anchor the prompt to, say, a website, or if, say, for example, you're crafting a message to your clients about the holidays. You may ask Copilot to link your website so that you can have that message a bit more targeted to the company and what the client company does, or your company, you name it. Another good example may be you may bring a file such as, say, your brand voice, attach it to the prompt, and then ask Copilot to write a message based on your brand voice using your brand voice as an attachment, right? In both cases, both paid and free, of course, you can source or you can mention the source by just calling it out in the prompt itself. You may say, write it as you would be someone from Change Champions Consulting and put the link to Change Champions Consulting. So you can always do that as well. So I hope that makes sense. I'll give you a few examples to illustrate this. So here is my first one. I'm on the web, so this resembles the free Copilot, right? I'm sourcing from the web and say, I need to prepare a nice message for the holidays for our customers, create a message from us at Change Champions using our brand voice and value proposition. And you can see I put our company web address, and then this is the prompt output. So as you can see, essentially it's calling it out. Essentially, it's picking up the fact that we work on transformation projects, that we're a people first type of company. And so it's targeting it a little bit more based on who we are, even including a little something that kind of comes from our website, it looks like. Now, that's web. If we are in work mode, I can see it here. Same prompt, though it's a little bit more specific to us, right? And you can see it here. Our people first approach and change management and Microsoft 365 adoption. So now it's really bringing a bit more details. And then if you see below is actually even given me the ground, basically where it's grounding its output. It's grounding it on, for example, a PowerPoint that we have where we describe who we are, right? So it's much more specific to our company because it is sourcing the information from our website. I didn't even have to, by the way, use the forward slash and just put the company information. I want to show you a third example that is relevant to our company and how this works. This is a prompt that I love. Is before I go to the holidays, I need to close all my pending items, create a table with action items pending by completion, and suggest a follow-up based on my emails, meetings, and recent conversations. And you can see Copilot has produced, and this is real life data, is a list of the things that I need to do for fact, and even suggested action. So really neat prompt to consider for before the holidays. If we can put it in the chat if you like. But essentially, Copilot is grounded on work, so it's being able to produce that output. All right, so with that, we're going to move on. We are excited to get you to play with us today a little more. So we're going to be coming back to the activity. We can have 15 minutes. And if you just joined, you will have the template. Hopefully that you would have received the template we sent. The template looks like this. And what we asked you to do is pick a use case for the holidays. So the use case may be, I want to prepare for an event for the holidays. and then break it down into tasks. So the task number one may be setting up a meeting and maybe planning the event, creating a plan for the event, securing stakeholder buy-in, whatever that may be that you want to do in order to break it up. And then today we're going to start actually planning our prompts. So we'll see how much you got done, but essentially pick, if you haven't, pick a holiday scenario, or else when we break it in groups, tag along with the team that has one, and then break it up into tasks. We should have at least 3 tasks today, and then start filling out that template with your unique comments. And if you get a little bit of time, start working on your prompts. If you don't, then you'll take that away as a little homework for today. We want to start to get into prompting. So quick recap, pick the scenario, break it up into sections, and then start filling in the template. And if you get time, work on the prompts. You can do this in groups and then take it away and work individually. Any questions before we move you into the breakout rooms?
I was just going to mention that we're going to be popping into some of the breakout rooms to see how everyone's doing and provide any input if needed or support.
Excellent.
Are we in the same groups that we were yesterday?
I think so,
As
right,
much as
Ivy?
possible. Yep.
Yeah,
We have a few new people, so they'll be grouped. But if you were here yesterday, you should be grouped with the same people yesterday.
Thanks.
We're also here. Yep. We're good to go?
One quick question. Alice was wondering, when we submit the final project, is it by group or individually?
It'll be individually, but you're welcome to use what you worked in the group, if that makes sense. And sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't sharing my video.
Perfect.
Okay. You'll be brought back 30 seconds before the end of time to this main room. So see you on the other side. I shall open the rooms now.
Excellent. I was in a couple of groups that were really working their way. We cut you off abruptly. I'm sorry about that. This is just to get you started, folks. You can grab this deck and make it your own. You can pick a different example than what your team has picked, but what we wanted to do is give you the framework so that you can start doing this yourselves, right? So as a reminder, the goal is pick a scenario. This may be, we were just talking about drafting a communication for security awareness, and then break it down into tasks. Maybe we do some brainstorming with Copilot. Maybe we ask Copilot to review our materials. Maybe we ask, so what are the steps, right? And maybe send the email, right? And then what are the prompts that we would use? And don't forget that Copilot is available in each app in Office, right? So maybe if you are planning something, maybe use Copilot in Planner. If you have a survey, maybe use Copilot in Forms, right? So you'll have to do your own learning on that, because we don't have enough time to walk you through each app, but hopefully throughout these sessions we'll give you some ideas. Before we close, we know we're right on time. Any questions? We'll recap on the next steps, but any questions?
There's one on individual or group submissions from Alice. Is it individual or group submissions?
Yeah, so good question. In individual submissions, but you're welcome to use your team use case and scenario. So you're welcome to use it. Just, I think the submissions will be individually because we want you to come up with your own prompts essentially. But you're welcome to use your teams as well as input. I hope that makes sense.
I also included a link to the registration page.
Can you share again the template?
Let's see the template. Yeah, who is that?
Oh, that's Jerry.
Jerry. Okay. Yeah.
Jerry Lopez. I can email you the pack as well. Jerry Lopez. Got it.
Thanks.
Oh.
Any other questions?
So the link worked before for the registration page. I'll just try to troubleshoot that. I think I can share it again after.
Is anybody else having trouble with it? At least it's not showing up where I am.
Try this one here. I just pasted it directly from the event page there.
That works. That works. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, thanks. Will we be using
Excellent.
this template to create our assignment for submission? Is the question. That's going to
Yes,
help
you
you.
can use that template
Yep.
for submission. Yes, you can definitely use that template. We'll give you instructions on submission in our next session. But honestly, however you want to send us, we'll probably have a form, but you're welcome to submit it as well as a slide like this. So I'll show you here. So if you want to create something like this with your prompts, that's all we need.
Would you be able to
Okay.
drop the template here in the chat?
I can
If
do
you
that.
could try it, I don't know if it's gonna work, but because I think our company we don't have enable external sharing with everyone, but let's try it out. Otherwise, we'll definitely get it to you in the old school attachment. Just a quick recap before we go. Please, if you haven't gotten a lot of time, we wanted to keep these short because we realize realizing it's not a lot of time. If you have time, work on your scenarios and more than welcome to continue with what you have or create your own. Once you have the scenario, break it up in tasks and then add your unique descriptions and prompts into it. And we'll start working on the prompts. And then by next week, we should start now working on the actual prompts themselves. And then by end of basically the session, you're welcome to submit your slides with your scenarios. Any final questions before we move on? Wonderful.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope to see you at our next session to continue all the great work on that we've done so far on prompting, and we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very
Bye
much.
now.
Folks,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.